policies. But when you look at Tucker Carlson, he almost doesn't look like he thinks that politics can be the way to reach what he thinks America first is. For him, what America first is to actually tear down the power of the government so that it doesn't get involved in our lives, and it only involves giving us basic things, maybe paying for roads, taxes, paying for protection. Also, sometimes jumping in and doing stopping immigration just to protect Americans. But he believes that government should have a very limited sphere in our lives and just get out of our way and support our private rights and our constitutional rights. That's why he's so against Trump with the ICE shooting, because now that Trump is killing Americans, he's saying that's an overreach of the power. And he's beginning to question, is Trump really trying to kick out people from the country and help fight immigration to help Americans, or is he just using it to make money and to get political power and revenge on his opponents? In the middle is Marjorie Taylor Greene, who supports everything that Trump does, but says he might have gone a little bit too hard now that we're seeing some people like Renee Good get killed, but she still defends him to the halt. So the only person that's literally criticizing what Trump is doing to Americans is Tucker Carlson, and he's beginning to question the right of Trump to even be in office. We know that he supported Trump initially because Trump came in as a populist. I don't think he really liked Trump, but he saw Trump as a political outsider who would take down the political insiders, and then that could lead to the revolution in America, in which we have rights that have been subdued, or rights which have been suppressed by politicians who overtax us, spend our money on wars, and don't look to any policies that help America. So I have a feeling that he thought that Trump was a little bit divisive. Trump was a little bit too much right wing and appealed to racist people, but he thought that at least Trump was an outsider who wouldn't be doing all these wars abroad, and who definitely wouldn't be employing agents on the streets of America. So I think now that he's disillusioned with Trump, I think that he's looking towards Taylor Greene as maybe being a suitable candidate, because at least Taylor Greene wants to pass bills that the populists pass. But I even think even then Tucker Carlson will be like, well, if the populists want to pass bills that violate the rights of the average American and doesn't allow the average American just to be free and get out of our lives, overtaxation, too many rules, then that's not good either. But at least it's better than what we see with Trump, with fascism. So I think ideally what Tucker Carlson wants is almost like ordered anarchy. He wants to have enough government to keep everybody safe, but that's it. And then everybody can live their private lives as long as they don't abuse other people's rights. So I think Tucker Carlson wants very limited government scope in the country. And he's more of a philosopher, in which he's like the Constitution. He just wants to make sure that Americans are free to follow their passions without government interference. But the government does have to step in and do things like limit immigration, maybe sometimes go to war to defend America. But all of that, the end purpose is for Americans to be free to live. It doesn't matter whether you're gay or whether you are a redneck who's a Christian or whatever. The government shouldn't get into your personal life and limit your freedoms. The only thing it should do is provide basic justice. So what he thinks, what America first is more than anything, is personal freedom. Now, the way we're not going to talk about how he thinks that can happen, but what do you think, Alex, about Tucker Carlson's move? And I think he's more of a philosopher than someone who's involved in government, because to me, by definition, government will always be invasive and corrupt.
I think what Carlson is circulating is a historical pattern that we've seen over and over. When a government convinces people that security is more important than dignity, rights do start getting treated as conditional. And in this case, it began with the immigration enforcement, right? Yeah. Most Americans shrugged and said, well, that's about illegals, not me. And that's always step one. Rights erosion never starts with the popular group. It starts with the disposable one. And then comes normalization, the militarized raids, fast-tracked training, aggressive tactics. Those stop being, extraordinary measures, and they become standard operating procedures. So once that happens, the question quietly shifts from, should the state have this power, to who should it be used on next? And that's the danger Carlson keeps hinting at. A federal agency that can act with speed and minimal oversight does it suddenly grow a conscience later? So
Yeah,
what makes this story unsettling is that it's happening inside a populist movement, like you mentioned, a
yeah,
movement that originally claimed to exist to protect, ordinary people from elite power. So when even that movement starts defending state violence without scrutiny, it means that what is that called? The guardrails are gone. The guardrails are gone. So
yeah.
human rights erode not because people hate freedom, but because they convince themselves like this one exception is necessary. And then going back to Carlson, I feel like he's in rebellion. He's stress testing the movement. He's saying the things
He's doing a
Trump can
stress
say
test.
while in power. You get what I mean? Trump
Yeah,
plays the bad cop, the enforcer, the regime, and then Tucker plays the philosopher, the moral whistleblower, warning people about ICE, militarization, and federal overreach, not to kill MAGA, but to future-proof it. Almost like he's laying the groundwork for a post-Trump narrative, you know?
yeah.